Eric Keller here, Enthusiast Auto Group. Today we're at EAG's HQ and we have a trifecta of Z4 M-Coupes. It has been a while since we've had fresh Z4 M-Coupes to the market, and well, it is a beautiful day in Cincinnati, albeit a bit windy, and wanted to take this opportunity to introduce you to these three new arrivals. This is a EAG first look. You're seeing it here on our YouTube channel before even our own very website. And we have a very low collective amount of mileage between these three examples, starting with high to low, the Alpine White, which is the only repeat visitor of the group. That is a 2007 model that EAG acquired from the first original owner. It has 42, almost 43,000 miles. Here closest is an Interlagos Blue. This is a 2006 model that has a whole 20,000 miles. That is super desirable spec, as is, well, all three actually. And the third, 2006, it is a silver gray metallic on solid black that has, well, just 12,000 miles. And each of these cars' stories is a bit unique and, well, special. I'm going to share them, all three of them, with you here in this first look. It'd be a good way to compare and contrast some options, maybe talk about some upgrades that you might want to put on one of the stock examples. There are not many upgrades here on the silver gray. And I guess we'll go ahead and dive right in with this one, starting with the lowest mileage first this time. We bought this car from the president of the BMW CCA National Car Club. And I don't mean national, the chapter, I mean national, the entire group. Mr. Eddie, we're going to call him. He has been the custodian, the caretaker of this car for almost a decade, a solid 9 years, and added about another 50% of the mileage to it relative to his starting point at 8,000 miles, now here at the 12. The ZCP competition wheels are installed, and I believe they might even be the CSL wheels now that I look at the concave on the front. Yeah, so this is a CSL wheel setup. It is a super fine choice example, so much so that it did, I believe, win its class at Legends of the Autobahn back in 2018, I believe it was. I remember actually seeing the car as Mr. Eddie was on the microphone announcing the event. And he made sure that I went and checked out the car. He wasn't looking to sell the car back then, but did want to show it off a bit, and rightly so. Every reason to be proud of this car. It's a really exceptional car that is pretty heavily optioned. It does have the navigation. It has the extended leather, which will be noted with the leather door uppers. Will be the easy visual way to identify that option. Now, the car was built in May of 2006. We're sitting right now at 12,624 miles. Even the steering wheel trim's in quite remarkably good shape, which is probably one of the most common things that we replace with even the lower mileage cars. It's just a soft touch plastic, and these switches have a tendency to take a scratch pretty well, whether it's jewelry or watch or what have you, and really not any scratches there, which is pretty uncommon to not be replacing that. The carbon leather trim is all in really great shape, and of course our lovely little cubby back here for the navigation unit. These are all in arrival condition. We've not detailed it. I haven't even washed this car as it has arrived from Central California. Certainly is going to go through and have the full EAG Rejuve program, starting with that roadmap inspection to define what that EAG Rejuve roadmap is going to contain. The ZCP wheels really, I think, are the only upgrade and modification to the car. It has, a really great service history that mainly consists of oil changes and brake flushes and coolant flushes. We'll go through and, of course, identify anything else that we can improve. It does have the clear bra as well, as you see here on the leading edge of the hood. The main thing we're going to update and upgrade, in addition to, say, that little M badge, they just do wrinkle over time with heat. We're going to put a new one of those on. Is we're going to restore that front bumper cover, as you've seen us talk about with other cars in other markets in the past. The front license plate bracket, well, it was installed, and we'd certainly like to have that cleaner look, so we will restore that front bumper cover in EAG's paint and body department. The Alpine White is, as I said, the repeat visitor of the group. I'll save the Interlagos for the last. Alpine White is a really cool story. The original owner, she reached out to us, said, hey, I've got a great car. It's a special car. I want to maybe put this up for adoption with EAG. How does this work? Do you guys buy the cars? Do you sell them on consignment? I mean, very, very common question we receive. And EAG does buy all of our cars outright. We send wire transfers. We qualify the car, but a lot of times when they're being offered to us in this adoption-like process, the cars are pretty self-qualifying based on the owner. You're not buying the car, you're buying the owner that was responsible for the custody and care of any car. And the condition on this car for 43,000 miles doesn't get too much better. It's a really cool option spec. This is a navigation delete with the carbon leather trim as well. Had an MSRP of just over $55,000. The accessories and keys, all that stuff is complete. Tool roll, the M-Mobility kit is back there behind where the battery resides. And EAG had about a $10,000 rejuve ticket on the car about 1,000 miles ago, not quite 18 months ago, and we sent the car out to another enthusiast in Portland, Oregon. He actually had a really cool place on the Columbia River for his car collection, and his profile is like many of our clients. He wants to go out, drive all his favorite roads, have the experience, check the box of ownership, and when he's done, find another toy to keep his interest in an AADD, automotive attention deficit disorder, itch scratched. And well, here we are buying the car back. It was an enjoyable conversation, and actually I think we spent probably almost an hour on the phone, and I don't know that we talked about this M-Coupe, but maybe 5 or 10 minutes, just catching up on all things world and cars and hobby and life, and that's the type of relationships we're certainly always looking to build with these foster enthusiast next owners, which he returned the car in just as great of shape as which we delivered it to him. It will complete the EAG Rejuve program a second time, and everything will be checked and rechecked, and every process at EAG is always in a constant state of improvement. If we can improve anything, never stop improving is our mantra. We will certainly standardize any and all updates to each specific model. I think they made about 1,815 total of these Z4 M-Coupes, so not a super common hyper volume production, but they've certainly made a lot of the Roadsters as well, which do share 98% of everything, and certainly no shortage of those having gone through the program as well. So we've got a lot of experience to learn, opportunities to learn, and same with the S54 engine in our Z3 Ms, and of course the E36 M3s, which we've had well over 1,000 of those too. The Interlagos Blue, this is a really cool spec. This is also a navigation delete. This is a 2-owner car, also well documented. It does have the shorter stubby antenna, which I think is about the only upgrade on this car. There's the M badge that I'm sure is probably going on the engine compartment, just like the, probably all of them that would be in their original form will be updating those badges. Here's what it looks like sitting behind the wheel. It is an aluminum trim car. You'll notice the steering wheel trim does look in pretty darn good shape. We'll get a closer look on that too. It does have the heated seats. It is not the extended leather, hence the vinyl on the door uppers and in the back of the center console area. Here's that vinyl is with the standard package, which 90+% will have that. The fact that it doesn't have navigation, the 2 cars here in the rear not having nav, that's pretty rare. Most of them have navigation. I don't know exactly if there's been a production breakdown, and actually we did replace those trim items, so you can tell that looks minty fresh, and I'm sure that'll be on the EAG ticket. It's $600 worth of parts, maybe more, but that's not the point. We don't really look at the cost and the economics of things. We want them to be right. 20,610 miles. Yeah, back to the navigation. Not a lot without nav. I would say 2 out of 10, maybe even 1 out of 10. If somebody has those production statistics, love to see those. This is a Canadian spec car. It was imported through the U.S. and the only really thing that they have to change is the ring around the bezel. These are all digital odometers and just a switch to flick that between metric and standard. So that's the only thing. The mileage never has to be tampered with or changed or anything like that. Again, it's all digital, and outside of that maple leaf there on the door jamb, that's really the only thing that's going to denote this as a Canadian market car originally. And looking at the undercarriage, though, you wouldn't know. I have been under this car, and it is super tidy. There's those little wrinkles in the M badge. I mean, it's the small stuff. It's attention to those details, and obviously for changing that $45 badge, we're not skimping on any of the other things like those switches or, and of course, anything major mechanical on the service side, setting that next enthusiast owner up for success. And our goal is to really give them a turnkey experience so that they can just do what you're supposed to do with an M-Car and go out and drive it, have fun with it. And whether you're looking at it a lot in car shows like the competition, or sorry, the CSL wheeled silver gray, and I did remember one other upgrade that this car does have. It does have the H&R Sport springs with the stock springs that do come along with it, and the stock wheels are included too on the silver gray. I should add that detail. So stock original wheels, probably with the original tires on them. I've not checked the wheels in yet, but I've told and saw pictures of them that they're in super great shape, like new effectively. Do come with that car. A lot of our guys our buyers will opt to have EAG perform a lot of upgrades. That's what a lot of the cars here in the background, these are all sold cars, waiting for their time in the workshop to get through the final remaining steps of rejuve and any customer chosen and approved upgrades. The intake systems, the exhaust systems on the M-Coupes, especially with the wider set of wheels going to the 19-inch and maybe even adding a small set of spacers, maybe a 10 there in the back and maybe even a 12 or so in the front. That really gives that a heck of a stance. We typically will plus the tires by about 10 millimeters as well, going with that setup. That's kind of the ultimate form and really the ultimate coupe. I mean, BMW has never made a stiffer chassis, torsional rigidity chassis that I'm aware of. Maybe some of the brand new stuff might be a bit stiffer than these, but as far as the analog era cars go, the Z4 M chassis in the coupe form is the stiffest torsional rigidity and is on the same plane as a Pagani Zonda and a McLaren F1, if not even a higher rigidity level. And that doesn't necessarily translate to ride quality as much as it does just the amount of spring in its step, so to speak, coming out of the corners and just the handling characteristics that these Z4Ms just naturally have. It is a really sharp driving instrument from just a precision standpoint, and very communicative to the driver. I mean, almost I have to say one of the most communicative to the driver in that analog natural form. Again, with probably the best naturally aspirated 6-cylinder engine BMW has ever built with that S54. So that is a good, clean, one take, one lap around these 3 Z4 M-Coupes. Give us a call for pricing. I do want to get the cars up in the air and do the inspections both on the 2 new arrivals before I determine the final pricing, but it'll be market correct. The Z4 M-Coupes never stick around too terribly long. I think the last 3 of them that we've brought to market never even hit the website and or the public mediums, including this YouTube channel, because they just sold so fast. And so we have no shortage of people that are looking to add these to their stable, and maybe you watching this right now are one of them, and so definitely drop us a line, send an email, or shoot a text to the number there on the screen. Be happy to have a conversation with you, and certainly looking to find some really great foster enthusiasts to care for these 3 cars, and that's what we told the original owner when we bought the car from her, as well as Mr. Eddie when we bought the M-Coupe from him. And both of these people, actually all 3 of these people, gave us a call and said, hey, I got something special, it's great, want to keep it in a great loving home, would you be interested? And absolutely, if you have something that you'd love to keep in a great home, do give us a call. We're always buying quality. Our checkbook is hyperactive for quality enthusiast owned cars. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more. See ya.